Wondering your thoughts on Building 7, the third building we all saw fall.
Right, my thoughts on Building 7.
Also, if I could,
sure.
The probability of a false flag attack to gain momentum to go into Iran.
The probability of a false flag attack that would cause us to invade Iran. I wouldn't put anything past these guys. I just, put that on the record. With regard to false flag attack, we know that the government of the United States under previous administrations had actually contemplated that, dressing up an airplane as if it was Cuban and then, blowing it up, or I mean, there have been, and you could argue that the Gulf of Tonkin was sort of a false flag attack. It was, or at least it was portrayed as one. We've been fooled before. I mean, the USS Maine, the Spanish-American War. So, nothing would surprise me, and that's why I think that we need to be ready. We need to anticipate what will happen if God forbid, there's a terrorist attack and the finger is pointed immediately at Iran and the stampede begins. What do we do? And frankly, I think what we need to do is we need to not be afraid to speak out this time, because what we did last time was we all said, okay, we're all going to be good Germans, or Americans rather. Now, because the country's under attack, because 9/11 was such a shocking event, and in retrospect, that was a mistake. With regard to Building 7, Lamar Waldron and I spent 17 years researching a book on the Kennedy assassination. We were both young enough to remember it, old enough to remember it. We were young when it happened. And I mean, I tell you the stuff that we went through. I mean, we went through probably between 500,000 and 1 million declassified documents that we were able to get. We sued the government multiple times. We got all kinds of things declassified. In fact, between the hardcover edition of our book on this, which is called Ultimate Sacrifice, and the paperback, we were able to finally get declassified the name of the double agent in Cuba, the guy who was working with Jack Kennedy. There was supposed to be a coup on December 5th, just 2 weeks after Kennedy was assassinated. He got called off because he was assassinated. And I mean, it took us 17 years and probably close to $100,000 and a mind-boggling amount of effort and time to come up with what we think is a pretty good conclusion, a pretty solid, definite conclusion about what happened 50 years ago, however long ago it was. And so my take on Building 7, my take on the towers, was it controlled demolition or not, all those things, is that I don't know. I know how much research goes into knowing, and in something that big, and I don't think anybody knows. And that's, in my mind, what we need to do is find out. We need a really serious, legitimate, solid, a lot of citizen-involved investigation. And frankly, my guess is that it's going to play out the way the Kennedy investigation has, which is that there's annual conferences down in Dallas. I've been to many of them where the quote conspiracy nuts, I was one of them, get together. I am one of them. Get together and compare notes. Okay, I got this declassified document. You got this. And slowly over the years you put together the truth. But I think that's how it's going to play out. Frankly. Yes.